Hi everyone, welcome back again. Always good to have you here. We're approaching Halloween very quickly. I'm filming this on Saturday night, and this is another in my series of scented tallow bars. This one's going to be scented with lovely lavender essential oil and colored with Alkanet root. Now I know it looks reddish here, but in the soap we should get a nice lavendery color. Now I wanted to talk a bit about lavender essential oil. I have always got my lavender essential oil from a specific company that a family member worked for, and I got it for a pretty good price. And without going into a lot of detail, that's no longer the case. So like so many of you, I'm purchasing my essential oils from other companies, and that can vary greatly. I do try to buy in bulk and larger quantities. Not that I'm a rich person, but it's exactly for that reason I'm not a rich person that I buy in large quantities, because the cost per ounce is much less. One example is this lavender essential oil, which I decided to, for the first time ever, try the lavender essential oil from Brambleberry. My biggest disappointment, and it is a big one, was that it came in a plastic bottle. That was something that I was quite surprised by, and I realized that, it's a large amount, but I've bought large amounts before, and it comes in from other companies, and it comes in these nice big tins like this. And not that I think that plastic is necessarily the big evil that some people do believe. A lot of my customers have allergies to plastic, so I try to avoid them where I can. It's almost impossible to completely avoid them, but essential oils are a strong. Lavender is one of the milder ones, but nonetheless, plastics do leach. We know this to be the case. There's science to prove that. And so I would prefer it not to come in plastic. I've sent Brambleberry an email about this, not a complaint, but a request, that maybe they could try to move away from plastic into something else. For instance, those metal ones I reuse. When those are empty, I clean them very thoroughly, and I use them to store other things, mostly for dry ingredients, but they're perfect for that. And I do have to replace the lids, because the lids do retain the fragrance of whatever essential oil was in them. And I'll probably do a video on that too, because maybe you don't know you can do these things. But anyway, this was just something that when I saw it, I was just like, a plastic bottle. Not a complaint, just a comment. So something that you should be aware of too if you're buying gallons of essential oils, to double check how it's delivered. If you have an aversion to, as I do, to plastics, well, you might want to avoid that, or at least ask the company if they have something else. All right, I now have my lye water, and we're going to go ahead and get that mixed into our bison tallow. So here we go. Well, you know what? Look. Hey, I did get it to trace this time though, but I just want to be sure that our color is well incorporated. I'm just going to color the entire soap. Oh, I hope it works. Here we go. am sorry that I'm not talking too much, but it is really cool in here, and so these tallow soaps do thicken up. This one, not like yesterday. I didn't end up having to heat this one and deal with all those clumps. Oh, excuse me. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, it smells wonderful. Okay, let me get my mold. Sure looks gray. That's the trick with Alkanet sometimes. I do see the lavender. So I'm just adding a little spoon work on top here. I'm not going to add any lavender or anything like that to it. It's got all the lavender it can stand with the wonderful essential oil. It is a lovely lavender. I've tried a lot of lavenders. Bulgarian lavender, Spanish lavender, English lavender. I've grown 3 different lavenders myself, and I love them all. I can't say that I have a favorite. I know that there are specific lavenders that people prefer for like making perfumes and things like that, but for soap, a blend like the 4042, I think is just a terrific fragrance for soap. All right, done. Let's cut this. I got lavender. It seems like something not to be too excited about, doesn't it? But every now and then, when using natural colors, you don't always get what you want. I was afraid these were going to turn gray, but they didn't. They are, in my opinion, a great shade of lavender. So I'm quite pleased with that. And actually, even though, as you could see, I didn't do any swirls, I just poured it into the main batter and mixed it, but because it was thicker, it did leave like some nice streaks through it, which I think are just lovely. It adds that little bit of je ne sais quoi. And the lavender is just amazing. I used a good amount in these, safe amount of course, but they came out just terrific. I'm quite pleased with them. The lavender is just right. So it has been a wet day here. I don't know about where you all are, but here in Northeast Texas, I'm about, it's funny, I'm in a interesting location in Texas. I'm about 1 hour from Louisiana, about 1 hour from Oklahoma, and 1 hour from Arkansas, and a little over an hour from Dallas, Texas. And yet I'm quite rural. So it's a very nice dichotomy to have, that the city's not too far away. But anyway, why I'm mentioning this at all is that all of us in this area are getting rain right now, and a bunch of rain, a bunch of much needed rain. I've got a couple of inches already, and the soapy oaks are very happy. My ponds have all refilled, which they stay pretty full most of the time because I have natural springs here, but it's just wonderful. And this does, if nothing else, it does also help to replenish the underground aquifers with water. So this is good news to have all this rain. The only downside is that it's also very cold. Well, when I say very cold, compared to how warm it's been, well, it is very cold. It's in the 30s. This has been quite a change. Just weeks ago, it was in the 90s and then the 80s, and now tonight we're supposed to be down, I think, 37. It's going to freeze in the next 2 nights, which is fine with me. I have plenty of firewood, and I'm not worried about that. But I'm more than anything worried about, of course, the transition for the animals. It's always tough for them, that going through the change of weather from, when it goes slow, when there's a slow change, they have time to grow the extra hair and all that. But when it's sudden, oftentimes it catches them by surprise. And so for that, I'm always, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, try that again. They're the ones, that I get concerned about, are the animals themselves. But they'll be okay. They have barns. They have places they can go, shelter, to get away from the wind and the wet. But still, it's a bit challenging for them when that happens, when the weather does change like this. I'm very happy with some of the veining that we got. I say we, don't I? But you're watching it, so you're getting it too, even if it's just visually. So we is okay. Hope you don't mind that I include you. It's not the royal we, it is the everybody we. We. Okay. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with how these are turning out. Now I do know the ends of these aren't looking as great. They're a little rough. I was a little rough maybe when I unmolded, but they'll be okay. I can always run those through the planer and clean them up a bit. But thank you all for your comments about what I went through criminally here on the farm. Everything has played out okay, as it can. I mean, I'm not unhappy. I will tell you that, you know what it has done for me personally? There's a little air pocket there. When it thickens up a little, sometimes you can get those, but just pressing a little soap in there can take care of that. One of the things that going through an event of any kind, out of the ordinary does for me is it makes me appreciate the positive. And it's put me absolutely in a great frame of mind for the future, for the upcoming Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas time. I don't have family here. I've talked about that before. But my mother, back in the day, would prepare meals for the unfortunate, for those that were without homes or family. And I inherited some of that from her. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be doing that here. No, I really can't, because my home is my business, and I've already explained how I've kind of changed how I'm going to be doing that sort of thing. So no. But what I would like to do this year is maybe rent out something like, there is please believe I live in an area where there are no hotels, there's not even a store where I live. But if you travel a short distance to a place called Sulphur Springs, it's called that because of the sulfur mines, which I've talked about in other videos, and the underground springs, which we have here. But they have some hotels there, lower end. I mean, I'm not talking about Hilton's or anything like that. But you can rent out event spaces at those places, and I can get tables and things like that. So what I'm thinking about doing, I have to figure out the logistics of how I would do it. I've got to reach out to some people and ask a lot of questions to make it happen. But I would really like to do something like that and just invite whoever wants to come. It would mean, it's a lot of food, yeah. Is it expensive? Could be. But I don't have children. I don't have, I do give to charities and things, but other than that, my money all goes toward my farm and my soaping business. With just all the soap I've made lately, you can imagine how much lye I've gone through. And, well, yeah, it does cost money. And that's one of the wonderful things about doing this business is it's kind of self-fulfilling. So I make the stuff, yes, it costs money, but then I sell it and then I can buy more supplies. But I don't even have a car payment. I don't have a mortgage payment. I own my home. I own my car. Now, at some point, I will have to get another car. I'm actually looking into that in the future. So I guess my point is I can do these things. It's not that I am some saint or anything. It's quite selfish, actually. It makes me feel good to be able to do something like that, and especially if I don't have to get the credit for it. This is something I could set up and have some other people run it, or I could just be there serving food or whatever, but that sounds just like something I really want to do. And I've not done anything quite like that in the past. Like I said, my family did feed those in the past that were less fortunate, and this isn't just for the less fortunate. What I'm thinking about is something that would be for anybody that wants to come. Hey, there are rich people that are alone during the holidays. There are people of every race. There are people of, men and women and lots of people who may be alone. I may do it, and who knows, maybe very few people would come. That would be a shame, that I'd be left with a bunch of food. I don't know why I'm showing you every bar. They're pretty similar, but I just wanted to chat with you for a little bit. I talk out loud when you all are here. These are things I think myself all the time, or these thoughts, and I don't have anybody else here that I can share these sort of things with. So these thoughts, and this is something that, well, you all are here. So you're the one getting the fortune or misfortune of having to hear this. You can always mute the video. I know that I tend to ramble on. But I'm very pleased with these lavender bars. I think these will be well loved. They actually have that, and I believe is these cool that the lavender color will come out. And I did gel these. And that just means that I covered them so that they would stay hot longer, and that helps intensify, especially with natural colorants. And I'm very pleased with how these have turned out. And, there's always room for improvement. I'm going to say that there is no perfect bar of soap. Well, I believe that the perfection is in the eye of the beholder, the person using it, the person who knows that they're homemade, that these are made and cut one at a time. Well, they're not cut one at a time. These are cut 11 at a time, but I guess you get what I mean. Everyone is handled by a real human it's mixed by a real human who cares about the animals. I care very much about the animals that provide the sustenance for my business, whether it be the goats, the bison, or the sheep. And matter of fact, I have a ton of sheep wool that I'm going to be processing. I guess I'll try to do a video and show you all my process there. I'm going to be making some wool dryer balls, and hopefully that's something you find interesting. Now, I will tell you that I'm making, I dropped a bottle. I have made other soaps here, and I have to edit those videos. I've made in this series. This is the third in the series. I've already made the fourth in the series. I made them both within 8 hours of each other, so the next video will be that one. I'm trying to do 2 a day. I'm trying to get back in the, well, I'm not trying, I am. I'm getting back into the groove of things. I always liked to do 2 or 3 videos a week in the past, and I'd got away from that. And it's something I enjoy doing, and it gives me someone to talk to. So I hope you've enjoyed this, everyone. These have been a lot of fun for me. I really am happy with the result, and I think they're going to be a terrific bar of soap. These will be available at the end of November, early December. Now, why do I say, by the way, someone asked me this, why do you not cure these 6 weeks? Most of my soaps, I do cure 6 weeks. The tallow soaps, I cure maybe 3 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, 3 to 4 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why it's only 3 to 4 weeks. Because first of all, I use a lot less water in them. And they dry much faster. They stop losing moisture within 2.5 weeks. They are the weight they're going to be. They're mild to use. I use them myself, so I know that they are safe to use and that they are at their very best. Now, if these were my other soaps that have olive oil, coconut oil, and castor oil, and cocoa butter, and all those things in it, yes, those I do like to cure a good 5 to 6 weeks, depends on the bar. Of course, if it's Castile or something along those lines, of course, we're talking about a much longer cure. But someone asked me that question in an email. It's like, wow, you're able to turn those around real quickly. What's your secret? There is no secret. Well, other than using, these are made at 25% water compared to most of my soaps that are at 32%. So there's a lot more moisture in those to evaporate. These cure much faster. Anyway, I won't go further, and these are 100% tallow, so they're much harder, faster, lots of benefits, in my opinion, to these. So everybody, thank you again. I hope you have a terrific day, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.